The Halfbrick Show.
Welcome back to the Halfbrick Show. We're on to the third and final episode of our Halfbrick Plus Takeover special. As usual, I'm Aiden, and now I'm a proud owner of more than 5 cards. So, that's moving on up. As always, I'm joined by the amazing producer of the show. Welcome.
Congratulations, Aiden. And yes,
Yeah,
that's
thanks.
me. I'm Carmen, the legendary producer and extra proud owner of more than 6 cards. So, again, just get behind that.
We've been listening on as well, obviously, because we, get the pleasure of that early. And Eli, Nick, and Daniel, they've been going over those decisions, design process for the Hub app, the changes. This part 3, they're going to explore the ins and outs around the season pass and the future connections to other games in Halfbrick Plus.
Yeah, it's very interesting because the season pass and the Halfbrick Plus you see today is just version 1, and we are going to see it evolve and become like super important to the players daily. So the bigger idea here is crafting an ecosystem that allows you to make the most out of every gaming session, which as someone who spends a lot of time on her phone is just great. So, if you I'm sorry, I'm coming out as a Gen Z
Chronic phone user.
obsessed chronic Colosatron player in the podcast. So we'll wrap up after the conversation with the Halfbrick Plus team, and for now they will take it away.
All right, so we're back. I guess this is week 3 of the Halfbrick Plus takeover of the Halfbrick Show. So I got Nick and Dan with us again. Card's been out for, when did we launch this? As we're recording this today, they've been out for
2 weeks.
3 weeks, 3 weeks, I thought.
Yeah, it's the middle of the third week.
3.5, something like that. Yeah.
We're on week 3.
Yeah. So far, the response has been pretty good. And it's always hard to kind of like figure out what to set expectations on surrounding like any kind of soft launch, right? Because you just never know what all the unknowables, I guess, right? You can make assumptions, but the assumptions are often not correct, and the things that you were excited for actually didn't matter because this other thing turned out to be way more important, kind of thing. And yeah, so what do you guys want to start with? You want to talk about kind of like the way the last couple of weeks have gone, what numbers are looking like where do we want to go first? There's a lot to cover.
Yeah.
Well, I can jump into some high level ones. So like
give us some goal posts here.
The exciting one is we've had 23,000 card packs ripped already in the first couple of weeks, with a couple hundred per day, claiming the free daily reward. So it's good to see those numbers climbing as more people are starting to use the Hub app. We've also had a bunch of shiny cards go out, and only a few holos. So if you're one of the lucky ones that pulled a holo, then you're in the 1%.
So can you explain I feel like we need to pull the car over for a second and just explain the kind of holo stuff, because it was a little interesting watching the chatter in Discord was the kind of like not really understanding what, like if that's actually the top tier that you're upgrading to, or if it's like a special rarity, or where those come into play.
Yeah. I mean, so the way we designed it is that legendary is your top tier of rarity, right? That's the one that you can kind of do all the stuff with. Holographic and shiny are like pure collectibles, and they're exceedingly rare. Originally, I mean, when we were first developing the system, we didn't even have a way for you to be able to upgrade to holographic or shiny, because we were like, well, you just get luck of the draw. And then we went through it a few times, and we had some feedback from some people who are like big card collectors and collectors within the company. And they're like, I want a way for my entire collection to be holographic or shiny. Like I want a holo and a shiny version of everything. I want that to be a thing. And it's like, oh, okay, like how would we do that? And so we did make it so that there are gems that you can randomly get and you can upgrade, and we've kind of worked through that. But yeah, it's not a requirement. Nobody is going to need to get all hollow or all shiny, but if you're dedicated, you can do it. It's possible. It's just really rare and really hard.
Well, so as you upgrade that far, you get the choice of which direction you go, right? Between a hollow or a shiny, right?
Yeah, one or the other.
Yes, I think that like creates a really interesting design space for like what cards end up doing in the actual games, right? If that decision kind of becomes like meaningful, where it's like,
Mhm.
oh, over here in this card game, like hollow is actually like pretty good for this reason, but over here in the when you equip it in this game, like you actually want the. I think there's a lot of cool stuff we could do with that.
Yeah, I
But
mean, that's exactly the kind of stuff that we're trying to make space for with the system, with upgrades specifically, is like as we are plugging games in, we want them to be able to use the upgrade path or the randomization path or the rarity path or be able to kind of plug in and look at how that works and develop their own creative ideas, power spikes or reward systems
yeah,
on those specific mechanics. And
yeah,
it's important to make the space and keep making the space as we're designing more things. Like we really need to make sure that we are leaving sockets open that other games can plug into and be like, oh yeah, I want to use this.
yeah. Well, so Dan, sorry, I didn't mean to divert too much from your fun numbers. What else you got that's cool?
Mr. Cuddles was the first card upgraded all the way to shiny. So we have
Oh, really?
one player that did a shiny upgrade, and it was gold Mr. Cuddles. We've also had 400 of the Mr. Cuddles legendary card forged into a one, which is an interesting one. And then the most popular crushed card is the gold machine gun jetpack. No one likes that card. They're all crushing
Really?
it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So do we
Huh.
think that people know what that card does, or are they just crushing it because they're getting duplicates of it, or what's the current working theory? Hard to say.
It's hard to say, but I think it's potentially duplicates.
Do we have a stat of like what card has been duplicated the most right now, or do we not have that level of granularity on cards that are given out?
The card that's most common in circulation
Yeah,
is
the most
probably going to be legendary Mr. Cuddles.
What is the reason for that? Because you get
It's
that
given
out
out
of
with the season pass. It's like everybody gets one, right?
Oh, well,
So-
yeah, I meant out of like a pack, I suppose, because I feel like,
yeah, okay.
and this is just luck of the draw, I know, but it's like I feel like I'm getting the fish out of water fish like crazy.
Yeah.
But
Barry sunglasses and
Barry.
Josie are
Yeah.
the two most popular cards right now.
Most,
They're almost
most
tied.
common cards in circulation. Wow.
Yeah. And Crazy Ship Teleporter is just behind them in number 3.
Well, that's super cool. So of what you guys have seen so far, I know when we went into the soft launch, Nick, I was asking you for, what does success look like in this? And it's so hard to define, right? But like, as you guys have been watching all this go down, like what's kind of like the big takeaways, I guess, so far of what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting question when you asked it back then, which is like, what does success look like? And candidly, we had a conversation where it's like, we're not trying to track success right now. We're just trying to track, like, will people use this? Is this of interest to them? Because like success is like some interest. We can build on interest. If there's no interest, then it's like, why would we build the house if nobody wants to live in it? But even then, like our estimates for the amount of interaction with cards was way lower than it has been. So we've been genuinely surprised to like take a look at how like even just the amount of card packs ripped is over what we thought, for especially for the small group that is soft launch testing this, really. So yeah, it's surprising.
Have you guys been able to segment out like any of the kind of like power users outside of, just normal App Store downloaders to kind of get an idea of how the different, because that's been my concern from like the get-go with this is like, particularly as you watch Discord and stuff, we've got some mega power users of people that are completing the season pass early, all this other kind of stuff, of kind of like quote unquote like normal players. We see similar sort of behavior where it's like they're gravitating towards this and it seems like they like it, or what's the hard to say on with the numbers we got?
It's hard to say, but the the power users, they definitely showed us that the season pass was a little on the easy side to finish. So we're looking at changing it to add a little bit more life to the season pass so that it'll be a bit more enjoyable over a longer period of time is the big one. Like, we don't want to make it impossible or too hard, but we want to definitely make sure that players that like enjoy JJ Racing and play it a lot are going to have a fun time going through the pass and then getting the rewards as they go.
Yeah. The behind the scenes chatter on that has been kind of interesting, I think, because I don't think that anyone, I mean, I know that you guys didn't expect people to be able to complete the pass in like 3 days if all they do is like play JJ Racing 24 hours a day, right? So it's been sort of interesting to figure out the way to kind of work around that because, yeah, I mean, there's a certain level of excitement surrounding like, oh, this is the season pass of, you know, the month or whatever cadence we land on. And there's a lot to kind of like doing that with everyone. And if you complete it right away, you're kind of like,
yeah, you're burnt for the month.
Self-selecting out of that, you know, like.
Yeah. It's funny now to look back on it because like so much math and discussion was done around the estimates early on. Like even you and I, Eli, months ago when we were talking about this, we were like, well, this is probably how much people are going to play JJ Racing. And like, we want everybody to be able to finish it within like the allotted season time. So, you know, this is how much we should do. And then we kept just making, and it was all based on these assumptions of like set session times and session lengths for the week. And it's like the player base already has just blown those numbers out of the water. Like we did a couple of little things that kind of juiced those up, but just nowhere near the kind of juice up that we thought we would see. And so it's funny to like, it's a good problem to have to see people like truly engaging on a scope that is like, oh, okay, our numbers were off in a lot of places kind of here and really have to like rebalance how that works, but still trying to be like forgiving for somebody who wants to play it in a sessionable way, who wants to like engage with the product on their own time or like just play it on the bus for a little while, you know, on their way to work or something or in the lunchroom. Like I can't.
I feel like I've been fighting for that casual player in the conversations we've been having surrounding like amping up the XP requirements and everything else, because that was me playing Marvel Snap. You know, like when I was very into Marvel Snap, and you know, Hearthstone and other games like this, you know, I don't know, I just go in cycles with whatever I'm obsessed with at the current time, right? And with Marvel Snap, the way that their thing was balanced was I think their season pass lasts a month, maybe, or battle pass or whatever they call them. But the way it worked was they had 2 tiers of it where it was you pay, I think it was $5 for the cheaper tier, and then $10 got you like a skip or something like that. And if you bought the better one, it was very easy to finish it inside of the month, right? And then you were on like kind of like the bonus levels where you're just like every 5 levels or whatever, you got something. But if, as an experiment, I bought the cheaper one, just see how it felt, and it was like you could play casually, but you need to be very diligent about your play in order to complete the pass and stuff. And I think that there's a lot to kind of figuring out how to balance that, so it's like the power players aren't just blasting through it, but then we're also not punishing the people that just like play a race every couple days or, you know, things like that. Like, so.
Yeah.
It's going to be a challenging one to figure out.
It is. But I think one of the things that we need to get comfortable with pretty quickly is like, there's kind of like a couple of schools of thought on this. We need to make it so that people can catch up if they want to. And so we're trying to address that with some of the features that we're building right now, missions especially. We're trying to make sure that there is, you know, an enticing way to use missions or quests. I'm sorry, we're calling them quests. I got yelled at about this yesterday too. But yeah, we are trying to make it so that quests are going to be like a good driver for engagement and things. But also we need to accept that like if someone is a gold subscriber and someone is engaging with the product on a mass scale and like, you know, many sessions per day, many races per session, truly enjoying the game and playing it and is subscribed up to the nines, they are going to go way faster than anybody else will go. And that's okay. That's the reward for being that level of engaged and that level of subscriber. it probably shouldn't be in one day. So we need to, we need to make sure that's not happening. But feasibly, it could still be like in a 12-week season, a gold subscriber who's like hyper motivated and winning every single race and doing all their quests. We could see that being like a 4 or 6 week complete on the pass, and we're okay with that. We think that's fair.
Yeah, I think that's good. I just want to make sure that we're really able to, give that person something that feels meaningful, while also like not making it a massive grind for the people that aren't playing 24/7. That's always my concern, because that's what burns me out of season passes when I've done them before in games, and and you kind of see the requirement to get to anything you want, and you're just like, man, I almost feel like I got ripped off on this, because there's just no way that I'm going to be able to play enough in order to get anywhere near to finishing this. So like it like becomes like a negative kind of value sort of thing.
Yeah. Well, one of the big concepts that we're playing with quests right now is having a way for there to be higher value quests later on in the season. So it's like there's a chance that you might roll rarer or like quest rarities, and higher rarity quests will have higher experience.
I guess we should talk about, again, pull the car over and talk about quests when it comes to what we're thinking right now. Yeah. So quests, not missions. What's the current thinking as far as how these will be designed and what players will need to do, how many they'll be able to get. And like this comes with a massive caveat of this is actively being designed as we speak. Like none of the math has been done yet on what, well, I don't know, Dan's probably done all the math, but what balancing looks like as far as, rewards, what feels good, what doesn't feel too limiting, and everything else. So what's the current thinking? Like, I'm a player that just loaded up the Hub app or whatever. What do I see when it comes to my quests?
Yeah, I mean, as we speak is actually a pretty apt metaphor, as I just wrote out a bunch of suggestions and comments this morning to the quests group that's taking a look at that, and we are going to be reviewing some UI options of that pretty soon, I think. Basically, the functionality of quests are we want them to be something that is a daily and weekly occurrence. So you're going to have like, a couple of quests a day that are going to have a reward and some experience attached to them, and then a weekly quest for everybody that is going to be a much larger experience and a better reward attached to it, kind of thing. So you can like kind of plug away at it. We want that to be displayed in the Halfbrick Plus SDK. So in the games, you'll be able to see the relevant quests to you in the games. You can claim the rewards in the hub. So you can go into the hub and get all those rewards from them. There's a couple of different ways that we're currently looking at balancing that and how that's going to work and how subscriptions are going to integrate with that. Like who's going to get more and what quest rarity is going to mean to certain players. We want to work out those details, but we want to remain fair and we want to remain like impartial, really. Like we want everybody to have the option to get the most rare quests and the cool high value rewards from that stuff. And then there's a whole bunch of little edge cases that we don't really have time to go into right now that we're just trying to iron out. Like, well, what about if somebody does this, or how, if somebody, just DNFs every race, like, is that counting? Or like, so DNF does not finish, by the way. So if you quit a race, Candace does not finish.
Or I thought you guys were talking about Duke Nukem Forever for the longest time.
Because that was only one time that we talked about that. Yeah.
But as far as like you imagine the quest being something such as like finish first 3 times, or what's the, as far as like what the player actually needs to do to complete these? Has there been thought put into that yet?
Yeah, so we're looking at things like podium finish, or we're looking at things like, use a boost to win a race, even drilling down into that much, or like play on this specific track, or I'm not going to reveal any of the JJ Racing upcoming features, but there's some upcoming features for JJ Racing that you'll get to see in Global, and some quests will be based around that. And that'll be pretty cool. I think they should be something that is achievable for most motivated players on the daily basis. Like it'll take a little bit of effort, but you could do it. The weekly ones will be the more challenging ones, where it's like you gotta try to get those.
So what's the thinking surrounding the and again, I know there's caveats of like this is actively being designed as we speak, but the missions will be focused around the game that the
Quests.
season pass is for. The quests.
We-
Sorry.
We've been aiming to have it so that when we have multiple games integrated with cards, that you could do the quest potentially in any of the games. And some quests would be specifically for a single game, but when a season's active, we don't necessarily want to restrict a player to playing a game that they don't want to play. So like if we have a player that is really big into half-brick football, as an example, we might not want to force them to go to JJ Racing to complete a season pass quest, or players that really want to play JJ Racing, like we want them to keep playing the games that they enjoy and reward. So like a season will be in focus, but the idea is the quests will have some level of overlap between several games or all the games even. But things like weekly quests or specific quests to a game might have bigger rewards or something like that, is what we're aiming for. But they would be focused to a specific game. And then discovery missions or quests, sorry, is the other one we looked at, where we might try to have you experiment with a new game and see and be rewarded for trying out a game you might enjoy. So
Yeah, I think there's a lot to that. That's really cool because that was always the big challenge when we were first doing Halfbrick Plus as subscription catalog sort of thing. Is we would get tons of people that come in the front door through for Ninja, but convincing them to play anything else was impossible. Well, not impossible, but very, very difficult, right? As opposed to having this sort of thing where you can be like, hey, go play a race in JJ Racing. You get this cool thing. I think that would be a strong motivator, and hopefully, the goal. I would love to convert people into like loving these other games that they just never really considered trying before because they just are a Fruit Ninja fan or a Jetpack Joyride fan or whatever else, right?
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about kind of putting our best foot forward. Like if somebody comes into our ecosystem, if somebody's in the hub and they're like, I just want to play Fruit Ninja. I just play Fruit Ninja after breakfast every morning for 20 minutes before I start reading my emails or something like that. And that's my daily ritual. I don't want you guys to tell me that I have to play X, Y, Z games, right? That's a valid player. That's a valid person in our half-brick economy and using our game. So we want to make it so that it's fair and decent and good enough for that person to play, and they'll get rewarded for doing that. But I also want to tell that person, every now and then, like, hey, I'll give you even more stuff in Fruit Ninja if you just check this game out. You don't have to love it. You don't have to play it every single day, but like, just check it out. See if you like it. Maybe you can change up your morning ritual or something. And the people who do want to branch out and want to check out these other systems and really like, especially in the way that like they can give us feedback and help us develop these products and make them more enjoyable for them, that's where the most rewards are going to exist for these players. That's where we're going to be able to give them the most stuff.
Yeah, that's what always killed me about the difficulty of getting the Fruit Ninja players into other games. It was, to me, I've had a lot of people tell me that what they like about Halfbrick is how the catalog kind of like the games are very different, but they also they feel cohesive because, we prioritize things like game feel and gameplay innovation and all that kind of stuff. So if you like those elements of Fruit Ninja and you try Jetpack Joyride, it's like, oh, I see why this is good. I see why people like this and stuff. So there's a lot to that I think is really neat to just turn people. I think what I'm most excited about surrounding like just growing out the ecosystem in general is turning people from single game fans into Halfbrick fans because they have a reason to check out all these other things, and the cards are exposing them to these different characters and these different games, and we can do a lot of really cool stuff with the Halfbrick cinematic universe, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it. Once people get across those things and know who they are.
I'm vetoing that name. I don't like that.
Well, it can be the next thing we fight over, like missions and quests.
Okay.
HCU. But yeah, so I guess to kind of start wrapping this episode up, what's plans for, immediate plans for global launch? We can say that April 10th is the day, fairly confidently, period, question mark.
There's almost no other option for us, I think, at this point. We have We have a hard demand on April 10th. So whatever we have in April 10th that is working is going to go.
Yeah. Anything to expect on or around April 10th that's different from what folks are seeing in soft launch, or other plans for future-facing card stuff, or other things along those lines that seem fun to share?
You want me to open my bag of tricks and show people how the magic happens?
I think one or two tricks might be good.
Yeah, we are intending to launch Jetpack Joyride Racing and Halfbrick Plus's all its features globally on April 10th. And we are hoping to have missions, quests, boy. We're hoping to have that live as well for April 10th so that people can go in there. There will be an all new season pass for everybody to start. Every player will get to start that season pass from level 1 again, even if you're in a soft launch country. So you'll get to have the benefit of having a season pass under your belt already. It will be different prizes, and there will be a different cadence. I think it'll be a little slower than some of the motivated stuff was, and we'll be working through that. We'll have several features that we want to add during global, things like just a better season pass overview experience, more tooltips, more explanations in there. We're going to change the way that your card collection looks. Nobody before global will even notice this, but we've got this concept of a card binder, how you used to collect cards, and we have that, and we want to kind of lean into that a little more. We're going to be putting that in for global launch. And then we're going to be busy after that point working towards season 2. And season 2 is intended to be, at this point, we kind of mentioned it a little earlier, but we'll say it here, is going to be Halfbrick Sports Football. So in time for the World Cup, while you're watching the World Cup, you'll be able to play Halfbrick Football, and we'll be able to enjoy the World Cup together. And we got a bunch of, we're going to call it the Halfbrick Cup, but we've got a bunch of Halfbrick Cup features that we're working on for that. That'll be really cool.
I'm really excited for that. Football is, I don't know, I shouldn't say my favorite game. I'll say one of my favorite games that we've released recently. Yeah. And I'm very happy that it's getting some love because it has felt a little underutilized as far as Halfbrick Plus and just the game in general and everything else, because it's so much fun, but just needs some more meat on its bones, I think. And the cards should really get that one across the line. I think that'll be really fun. And I'm excited to see how we can bring players over into that, right? And how much cards actually impact the amount of humans playing and getting into like full human lobbies instead of humans plus bots, and things along those lines should be really cool, I think. So
yeah, we're really focusing on the friend experience. We want players to add their friends, and then we want to, because right now you can get notifications when your friend is playing one of the other games. Right now it's only JJ Racing, but soon it'll be all the games. And the idea is like we want it to be seamless, so you'll be able to jump from one game with your friends into another game and play with them and join up right away and then start playing. So you could do a couple races and then switch over to Halfbrick Football. We want that to be a seamless experience. And then Discord is working quite well if you're using the voice features as well. That'll be present in both as well. So like it'll be awesome to be able to jump in with your friends, just like you're sitting on a couch.
Yeah, I was really surprised by how much the Discord voice stuff added to the experience when we even just first integrated the Discord social SDK into Halfbrick Sports Football just to try it, to see how it would work. It elevated that whole thing to a whole different level, which I think is super cool. I have been a big proponent of just letting people have open voice chat with randos, but that is a unpopular suggestion. But I don't know. It's
a second thing we can fight about.
Well, yeah. I guess I just look at the experiences that people are having in a lot of the popular games now.
Sure.
Where they're actually
Arc Raiders, Marvel Rivals. Yeah.
Arc Raiders is such a good example. I've had multiple people tell me, because usually when I play games like that by myself, like I'll just queue up solo, like not really bother the party or whatever, because I don't want to talk to other people. I just want to play my game, get off, that kind of stuff like that. But I've had quite a few people tell me like, oh no, Arc Raiders is different. Like I've actually, however they're doing their matchmaking, I'm like actively meeting people that are like me and like finding random friends online. through that. So I think I don't know if anyone has successfully done that in the mobile space, right? So it's an interesting thing to think about, but I don't know. The
I think
community safety stuff is challenging when you just have open voice chat, right?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is like there's so much good stuff that can come from open voice chat and encouraging players to socialize with each other and have those interactions. But we got to make sure that we're dedicated to keeping our players safe as well and making sure that they're not having like, I don't want anybody to jump into one of our games and have like a truly negative experience, be vocally harassed. So we have to figure out safety guardrails for those things. But it doesn't mean that we have to restrict it massively all over the place. It's just, we need to be sure of the safety guardrails that we're going to do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's been really cool playing with these games actually like on the device and everything else, because I feel like internally anyway, as we've been playing the different builds and stuff, I felt like I was always in a situation where it was like one of the games or the hub app was sort of like out of sync with each other. So you never got like the full experience of, well, you did sometimes, but it was sort of rare where you're hopping between both of them. And it felt like the full experience. I imagine you guys have just been getting like all kinds of feedback as a result of people actually being able to see the vision for the first time in their hands, and realizing like, oh, hey, this is a little rough over here or whatever else. So hopefully that's not driving anyone too crazy. But
yeah, I think this week we have a big change for deep linking, switching between the apps. It was referring you to a web browser. It'll now just go straight between the apps.
that's cool.
So that should be much more seamless now. Like we really want that experience to be strong, because we want the ability to like hop between games. Like that's the idea of the hub, is like it's a social hub. You can hang out with your friends, switch to a game, and all play together.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Cool.
Yeah, the dream is really to build a place where, if you have the hub, you can jump in there and it should be equivalent to being on any of your instant messaging apps or any of your social media apps or anything. It's like, these are my friends. This is digitally where they are right now. They're playing football, JJ Racing, Fruit Ninja, whatever, and give you the option to like, hey, maybe you can't even join the game that they're in right now, but you can join the group and voice chat, and maybe we can let you spectate. Like maybe we can get you in there and like you can hang out. Like we always want to make sure that there is some way to enable good social interactions and really bringing back that feeling that we talk about all the time, where it's like, I want to play GoldenEye with my friends on the couch again. I want to have a sleepover when I'm 13 and shoot each other and yell and make too much noise and get yelled at by, my friend's dad upstairs. Shut up. I want, like, we don't have to think about that as a past experience that is something that we'll never get to see again. We can build that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, cool. Any last thoughts before we pack this one in and give the podcast back to the normal hosts? I got no pressure.
Play Jetpack Joyride Racing. Enjoy it. Claim your daily free card packs.
Mark your calendar for April 10th. Literally the last date that the game can possibly come out on the platforms. After pushing it back so many times, but that's all good. Good things come to those who wait, as they say, right?
That's what we're told.
Well, we have an exciting new game mode coming, so
I'll be excited for that. I've heard good things, and it will be cool.
It's pretty cool. It's I'm not going to say too much. I don't want to. I'll let people discover for themselves.
Perfect. Cool. Well, thanks so much for spending the time with us over the last few weeks, guys. And I hope that this has been an interesting look behind the scenes for folks that are excited for Halfbrick, Halfbrick Plus cards, JJ Racing, and all the future stuff that we're doing. So, thanks for listening. And we return you back to the normal Halfbrick show.
That brings us to the end of this Halfbrick Plus takeover. We really appreciate everyone joining us, learning more about the future of the app, all of our games and those new experiences to come. So thank you for that.
If you've got any thoughts on the season pass, the premium tiers, or how it all feels in practice, just remember that our email is open 24/7 and you can send them over at the show at halfbrick.com.
Yeah. Again, beautiful email. I'll probably stop saying it someday, but not right now. So next week.
It was approved by Uncle Kenny.
That's right. So maybe we do just keep saying it every every week.
Yeah, it's engagement.
Yeah, you have to do it to him. But we'll be back next week with more of the usual Halfbrick show. It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we hope you have enjoyed this special series. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Coming up next time on the Halfbrick Show.
We are working on a next major update too, which I can't say too much about, although I will leak, especially for the podcast.
Oh my
There
gosh.
will be
Okay.
a new venue.